Hi guys! Today I'd be showing you two ways in making corn dogs. The first recipe is the classic corn dog. So we start off with 1 cup of flour. Make sure to put the mixture in a tall yet slim glass because my measuring cup was a little bit too big. Next, add half a teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 egg, and half a cup of milk, and 1 cup of yuzu bean. Make sure to mix it thoroughly so that there won't be any lumps under. After making the mixture, leave it in the counter for 10 minutes. And while waiting, we get our sausage and some mozzarella cheese. Make sure to cut them in smaller sizes. Usually, Korean corn dogs comprise of 1/2 sausage and 1/2 cheese. And we put the sausage first, then the cheese. Now we dunk it to the mixture we made earlier, and it must reach the tip of the sausage. But if that doesn't happen like me, just swirl it really quickly. And after that, cover it all up with 1 cup of breadcrumbs. And this is the last step before we start frying. Simple, isn't it? Now make sure to use a generous amount of oil. And before you add the corn dogs, check if the oil is hot enough. I added mine a little bit too early because I get scared when I fry something. This took me about 5 to 7 minutes to fry, but it may depend on the temperature and the pan that you're using. So there you have it, the classic recipe. Usually Koreans add sugar as a coating, but my personal preference is not to add the sugar, so I went straight to adding the ketchup and the mustard. After making the corn dogs, I tried to pull the cheese and make it look really delicious, but I think I failed. Our next recipe is the French fries corn dogs. This is what you might like better, but it probably has higher calories. So we start off with 300 milliliters of water and 8 grams of yeast. Make sure to mix them all together and leave it for about 10 minutes so that the yeast will start blooming. Next, get a large container or tray, and this is where we put our ingredients. So 400 grams of flour, then we add 60 grams of sugar and 8 grams of salt. We then whisk it all together. Don't actually have to use a whisk. I later learned that it's easier to mix it all up with a simple spoon or fork. Now, once the yeast has bloomed, we mix the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients and incorporate the whole thing together. Once it's done, I try to spread it out a little bit for it to have enough space to double in size. Now we cover it with a plastic cover and let it stay in the counter for about 30 minutes. Next, we cut the cheese and the sausage. This time I cut it into 3 parts because I did not want to wait to eat all the cheese before I ate the sausage, so I tried to alternate them. We then put it in the barbecue sticks, like Kim Sun-ho. Also, another mistake that I made was that my barbecue sticks were too thin, and thus it was not strong enough to carry my corn dogs. So I tried using 2 barbecue sticks, but I later learned that you could just use wooden chopsticks, which is way better and stronger. And here you'll be witnessing my struggle in trying to cover the cheese and sausage with a mixture. And in the end, I had to use my hands to make sure it does not fall off because it wasn't really sticking. Fighting. Next, cut some frozen fries. I think I cut about 10 fries, but I'm not really sure because I got really excited and I just started cutting them. And just like a while ago, the last step is to cover it with breadcrumbs before we start frying them. This one was thicker, thus it took longer to fry. It took me about 10 minutes to fry the whole thing. And the other corn dog actually started falling apart, and I was so sad. So that's how I tried making Korean corn dogs. I don't think it looks the same because mine looks really big. And it was actually harder to make than I thought. So 2 thumbs up to Halmeoni for doing this for so long. And that's it. I don't think I'll make this again, but I think it tasted good. And here's Stubby trying to taste my corn dogs. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time!